Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another Friday Ramblings featuring your beloved host. I am David, aka Bardic Ways, and Roulette Production proudly presents a moment of chastisement. A moment of, you know what, just like the old audio days, gloves are off. Did a wound, that's what you get for being klutzy. The gloves are off, folks. We're about to get real here. Because I'm going to do something. I've been wanting to say this for a while now. Publicly. I want to let it all hang out. I'm not going to fear the trolling. I'm not going to fear offending people, because frankly put, if you sat down and you listen to this entire thing and you don't think I'm making some sense here, frankly put, I was going to piss you off eventually anyway, so let's go ahead and get it out of the way. There's a thing going on in Hollywood now. It is an infection. And it is the plague of remakes and reboots. To the point that there are franchises that are not even waiting for the body to cool. And yes, I am totally calling you out, Child's Play. I am not putting up with you and this remake nonsense. You were doing perfectly fine with Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky. I mean, I wasn't thrilled with Cult of Chucky, but I kind of got what you were going for, and at least you were trying to advance the nature of the character in a semi-logical way. But now you're just going to say screw it and go whole hog into starting over from scratch. And you'll probably sit there and get pissy because you didn't make 10 times your investment and say screw the new timeline, wait 2 years and try it again anyway. But you know what? You're not even the worst. You are nowhere near the worst. Because at least, by going back to the start, you're going back to a movie that's, pretty old. And frankly, it's been kind of an ugly tradition in Hollywood horror these last few years. Let's see. Jason, Mike Myers, Freddy, all got the remake treatments. They all sucked. None of them lived up to the original. None of them were needed. We're not even touching the mess that's Texas Chainsaw. That's going to be a 30-minute video by itself. We're just go to the side. But you know what? We're going to put the other slashers over here because we're going to come back to them in a relatively recent episode. Texas Chainsaw, I'm going to push that back to October. Get on back there. No. I'm calling out the big boy. I'm going straight to the top of the mountain, and I am prepping my fist. Because this ain't even a slap right now. I'm the one that's been slapped. I'm the one that has been assaulted. This is a counterattack. This right here is justified. Because let me tell you something. It is one thing, okay, to remake a film that's 40, 50 years old, that was not even really that iconic to begin with, and doesn't live on forever on TV and DVD and VHS and Blu-ray and 4K DVD and whatever's going to come next, which will probably be out in the next 4 years. Because that's the thing, AV technology is going at a very rapid pace. But again, that's another discussion for another episode. But this nonsense. This just nonsense that we have been getting for the last 5 years from the Walt Disney Company. You need to stop it. You need to get your act together right now. I'm going to say this now, and then I'm going to come back to it, because this is how we're going to bookend this rant. This is not a rambling. This is not some fact throwing. This is a flat-out, opinionated rant. Because I have been assaulted and I have been insulted by the Walt Disney Company that I grew up loving. I embraced, like, pretty much every other American, okay? Mickey Mouse Club, the Disney Afternoon, countless incredible animated theatrical films. Even if I didn't see them until VHS. Because yes, I'm talking about so long ago, folks, I'm not even going to name the other formats. This was VHS. This was my childhood. Rental stores. Not streaming. Not Netflix discs coming in the mail. Not even the red box, which, I mean, still exists, but it's no longer the new hotness. I am talking video rental stores with VHS tapes. That was my childhood. And Disney was a huge part of that, along with, as I said, the television channels. And I'm not going to touch Disney on TV here. Disney on TV is a whole nother beast. I'm going to stick completely to the movie division. Okay? This is out of control. In 5 years, okay? 8, counting the to be released later this year, Lady and the Tramp. 8 in 5 remakes of your own stuff. I did a previous episode about King Kong, about how complicated the ownership of King Kong was. And the reason it is complicated is different people from different studios, from different decades, wanted to redo Kong. And frankly put, as I touched on this, not even every version of that was needed. I'm sorry. You've done a lot of great stuff, Peter Jackson, but your Kong was an embarrassment. You should be ashamed for that, about that movie. It didn't work. But seriously. Just seriously. And that's the thing. I'm only picking on the last 5 years because that makes my point. I'm not going back to 2010 with Alice in Wonderland. I'm not going back to, hold on, let me double check my date here, folks. I've got a little bit of a reference sheet because that's the thing. I am so ornery about this that I cannot think logically enough to keep my dates straight. 1996, when they redid 101 Dalmatians as a live action. That was the predecessor. That was the prototype experiment. Just... And again, Alice in Wonderland, we can see is the start of the modern. But this thing lately, it is obscene. That is what it is. It is obscene. It is offensive that you are taking films that Disney already gave to me in my lifetime. And yes, I am in my late 30s. And to a lot of people on the internet, and especially on YouTube, that are not even 20 yet, yeah, you may think 37 is ancient. I am well at the point that I could and probably should have already had children. Yeah, see, I have to throw up a little bit in my mouth thinking about Disney and what they've been doing to my childhood lately. There are reasons to do remakes. There are reasons to do reboots. I'm not counting in this the Christopher Robin film, because that was like Hook to Peter Pan. Christopher Robin is a sequel that jumped visual presentation from animated to live action, CGI, making it look as real as possible. I just... Ugh. I don't like the film. I don't like the premise of it. But I'm not putting it in this ranked. Because at least, again, that was an attempt to tell a new story based off an old film. And I'm not counting Maleficent and its sequel, which were only like 3.5 years apart, which is like kind of quick, but kind of not. I mean, it's by current standards, it's pretty good paced. But again, I'm not even picking on Maleficent, because at least Disney jumped visual presentation and used it as an excuse to completely redo the story. Alright? Completely change the story. Kind of like these original animated films did with the fairy tales and folk tales that inspired Disney to make these films to begin with. You know? I mentioned 101 Dalmatians earlier. That's probably the only classic Disney film that is original, and I'm not even 100% sure about that. I'm going to do a quick recheck here, folks. No, it's not. It was based off a children's novel, excuse me, from 1956. The 101 Dalmatians, or The Great Dog Robbery. So even that. But hey, given that the original film, animated film, came out in 61, at least from the novel in 56 to the animated film in 61, that was more of an adaptation of a currently popular thing. So that's more like what Marvel Studios is doing with the MCU, and again, that's a whole different thing. And I'm really not going to rail on 101 Dalmatians too hard, but it does make my point that you can adapt stories from media to media, but movie to movie, except you're using real human actors in front of the camera and CGI, super realistic looking anthropomorphic animals. And I don't even know, because I don't get much in the behind the scenes stuff, especially movies that just came out or are in the process of coming out, that there may be some real animals mixed in there. I don't know, and that's the point. Just look at the trailers. You can't tell if you're not part of the industry and have done this before. But the stories are the same. It is the same studio telling the same story. You're just changing the wrapping paper. And I will not accept that. I do not appreciate you thinking I am stupid enough to not notice that. That is literally lazy filmmaking. You're not even putting the effort in you did just a few years ago with Maleficent. If you told Lion King from the perspective of Scar, that would be kind of interesting. I don't know if I would see it in theaters. It would make a hell of a, original film for your new streaming service. And again, I'm not even looking into what you're going to put out on the streaming service. It's remakes. And I'm not picking on your TV movie remakes. Seriously, like, you guys have done 3 versions of Freaky Friday in my lifetime. And the bad part is, the first version was in 1995. I had a 13-year lead. That means in 24 years, you did the same film 3 times. That's pathetic. That really is. But again, I'm not picking on, because the last couple versions of Freaky Fridays were not theatrical. I'm really not trying to pick on those. Because this is bad enough. Now let's assume that you were not taking the same movie, putting new wrapping paper on it, and trying to present it to me as a brand new product. That is some hoodwinking, and I'm not referring to that animated movie and its sequel. That is just flat out shenanigans. And I will not put up with shenanigans from a studio that should be the industry leader, that is as culturally immersive and relevant, that basically built large aspects of our culture. I'm not going to put up with that from you, Disney. If you don't want to be number 1 anymore, that's fine. Tell me. Make a press conference. Say, look, we're tired of being the industry leader. We're tired of being the trendsetter. We're just going to chase trends like every other no-name moron studio that can't attract original writers because they don't have the budget. Or even writers that can pretend to be original. Yeah, we're just going to sit on our laurels here. But you're not even doing a good job of sitting on your laurels. If you just want to sit on your laurels, if your whole purpose is you want people who, because they were my age, saw movies like The Lion King and Aladdin, which just came out, in theaters with their children, because they saw it with their parents when they were little kids. If you want that nostalgia market, just re-release the movie you already made. You can remaster it. Put some polish on it so it will look pretty and colorful on these new high-definition screens that they have in theaters now. You know? Clean up the audio so the audio sounds great on these great new speakers. Oh, God, see, there I go again. Just, this is what Disney does to me. It is upsetting my digestive system to put this much focus on it. Clean up the audio. Clean up the visual a little bit. I don't mind. You know, that's fine. I understand. But just put that movie back in theaters. Because here's the thing. I remember seeing Oliver and Company in theaters. And I do not have children, but I have a nephew and a niece. And if I had the opportunity to see the movie that I saw in theaters as a child with my nephew and niece, that would be worth all the monies. That is the nostalgia moment. That is the turning back the clock moment that you are trying to monetize. And don't tell me you're doing anything else. That is exactly what you're doing, because that's the only reason a studio should remake its own film only one generation later. To monetize nostalgia. And you can monetize nostalgia. But don't monetize nostalgia while also spitting on that product. Whether it was the era of Uncle Walt, may he rest in peace, whether it was the 90s Renaissance, which is where Aladdin and Lion King and Beauty and the Beast come from, along with your next threat down the pipeline, Little Mermaid. Yeah, I said threat. Oh, and by the way, that's not just it, folks. They've also confirmed Mulan. Yeah, Mulan. Which was even later down the pipeline than those. And I was going to say another one, but I double-checked a second ago. And that was on the stream, and that's for their new streaming service. And I'm not picking on their streaming service. I'm trying to stay as focused as possible because that's just it. I don't have to look at their entire monolithic megacore to find evidence that Disney hates its own animated history. That it is doing horribly passive-aggressive hustler setting up three-card Monty on the sidewalk level shenanigans. I can just focus on their theatrical release division of the last few years and see this. Eight films in 5 years. Let's be as fair as possible to you jerks and say that the concept of a timeless movie was an illusion, and it's not, which is why at 37 I can watch the movies I watched at 7 and still walk away happy and feeling like that was time incredibly well spent. Not even with my nieces and nephews, just by myself. And I'm not exaggerating. I just went back and rewatched Aladdin a few weeks ago. And it holds up. It holds up for me. Because it is timeless. But let's excuse all that. Let's say that's just me. Let's say I'm the crazy one. And we have to remake our own movies every generation. Not even do a major script overhaul. Just flat out. Hey, it was in blue wrapping paper, now it's in red wrapping paper. Focus, focus. But let's put all that aside. 8 movies in 5 years is a ridiculous turnover rate. Lion King comes out in theaters like 3 weeks, maybe 4, but that's it. Within a month of Dumbo hitting DVD. Aladdin was sandwiched in between. It has not even street dated on home release yet. Lady and the Tramp will be coming out by the end of the year. I seriously doubt Lion King will street date when Lady and the Tramp hit theaters. It's possible, just because it'll be the holidays, and I'm sure Disney's going to want to maximize that holiday money. But it's still going to be really tight, like Dumbo and Lion King here. And that is ridiculous. Your audience should not feel like they have to choose between the home release copy of something that just left theaters and the new movie that's in theaters. You are competing with yourself, because here's a reminder, Disney. There are a lot of people in this country who do not have the disposable income to go to the movie theaters every week and go down to the store or order off their favorite website if you don't want to go into stores, because, retail stores are so horrible now. Again, that's another episode. We're going to put that over here. You're flooding the market just with your releases. I'm not even picking on your new stuff. Your MCU. Your Pixars. Your new sequels that are still animated, because I guess legally you're contractually obligated to make something animated. Or Uncle Walt will rise from the dead and take his damn name off the company. Focus. Those 8 films, and I keep saying this because that is what is key here, folks. It is the numbers. There is hard data and logic that inspires this opinion. Those 8 movies in 5 years. 8 in 5. Jesus, that is a horrible ratio to have to say. I have not paid to see any of those in theaters. I have not paid to purchase any of those on DVD, Blu-ray, 4K. Blah, 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 blah. I've not paid to download a digital copy because I'm not playing your game, Disney. Frankly put, I don't think I want to pay to see your animated sequels to animated films in theaters. Whether it's the traditional Disney Animation Studios arm or the Pixar arm. Frankly, since you bought them, I have to include them. The only reason I can't claim I'm giving up on theatrical viewing in the MCU is because I was a fan of those characters when they were just comic book characters. But you are on that line, Disney, because you are betraying me. You are insulting me. You are slapping me in the face. You are making me feel like I am nothing but a bank account to you. That I am not smart enough to recognize that this is a market flooding, half-assed version of a movie studio. And I said it before, and I'm going to say it again because this is my closing thought, just like it was my opening thought. For most of my life, Disney Channel was the trendsetter. They were the top of the mountain that everybody else wanted to be. They dictated what theatrical movies were going to look like. They dictated what television was going to be like, because they were the best, and they put 100% into their efforts. Now, Disney is just a trend chaser. They are looking for the cheap, quick, easy buck, and I am not going to encourage that. You have the raw money. You have the social reputation to look at the rest of remake and reboot loving Hollywood and say, let's calm the hell down. There's nothing wrong with nostalgia when done in small doses, in proper ways, but this is getting ridiculous. You have the ability to say that and be heard, Disney. But you don't want to. You just want to go cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. You know what? This register's out of order. Get over yourself. Because when it comes to my fandom of Disney, thanks to your corporate decisions, over and over and over again, hey, to quote your new hotness, that's getting its a sequel later this year that, again, I'm not seeing in theaters, I let it go. Let it go. Come back next week. Hopefully I'll be in a better mood. Hopefully we'll have something more fun to talk about. But don't bother being there, Disney. Not until you come with an apology. Set the trends. Don't change.